Over the last 20 years, Ghana has seen an aggressive expansion of its retail space. Over 10 retail brands, majority foreign-owned, have opened outlets in Ghana, with more expected to come in the coming years. But the dominance of foreign supermarkets means high volumes of foreign goods, mostly from the countries of origin, on the shelves of these supermarkets. Over the period, however, there have been instances where supermarkets have found themselves at the wrong side of the law for stocking expired or unwholesome perishable products like poultry on their shelves. On Tuesday, the 15th of June 2021, officials of the Foods and Drugs Authority made way to the Accra Mall branch of South African retail giant Shoprite. Their mission was to investigate reports of the sale of unwholesome chicken here at this very point, the supermarket's butchery. The authority says it had received reports on the 31st of May this year that the supermarket was stocking thawed frozen imported chicken, which it had labeled for sale as fresh, locally bred chicken. Deputy Chief Executive, Technical Operations Division of the FDA, Madame Ekia Amati, says despite a warning following a meeting with officials of the supermarket, they went ahead to stock the products for 2 weeks. Their defiance led to the shutdown of the butchery. First of all, let's get a confirmation from you whether indeed the FDA has shut down the meat section of Shoprite.
Yeah, that's true. We have.
Okay. Is it across all the branches or just the branch?
At the moment, we've just done the Shoprite at the Accra Mall. We are currently visiting other facilities belonging to Shoprite to see exactly what goes on there. But we've also been to the Junction Mall, where we've also locked up their freezers. So we are yet to do further investigations, and that will also inform us as to the next line of action.
So tell us about exactly what they did with regards to this frozen chicken matter.
Okay, so it came to our attention that they are actually passing on frozen chicken that they thaw and label it as fresh chicken, and they pass it on to the general public as fresh chicken, and that is deception, and that's against the Public Health Act, a section in the Public Health Act 103. I know. And apart from being deception, it also has some health implications, because we all know that you don't actually thaw a frozen product and then put it back into the freezer for it to freeze. And most people who patronize these products, thinking they've bought fresh chicken, some of them will definitely also freeze. And you know what happens, when products are thawed at certain temperatures, they start, microorganisms start growing in them, and they produce some form of toxins. So someone will say, well, but you boil the chicken. Yes, you boil it, the microorganisms will die, but the toxins they've already produced are still in the meat. And that's when you consume food prepared from such meats, you have some form of health challenges.
So for those who have already gone to buy these products and consumed it, what's in there for them, and how are you tracing that and clearing it from the system?
Well, we cannot really know who has bought it. That's why we are doing what we can to prevent such things from reoccurring. Yeah.
Okay. So when did this happen?
Well, we had the information on the 30th of May, so 31st we were at the facility, and then we actually invited them for a meeting. We told them the health implications of their actions. We asked them to stop the practice. Unfortunately, we did a random check yesterday, and then we realized they were still
talking that this
exactly, and that was when we decided to close down the butchery part of the Shoprite facility.
So from what you're saying, the shutdown was done on Tuesday?
On Tuesday, you're right, yeah.
Okay. And from what you're saying, it's something they've been doing for a while?
I presume so, because that is what we realize, that the so-called fresh chicken they put on display is actually not fresh chicken. It's thawed chicken.
Unwholesome poultry products, when consumed, can cause serious health implications. Senior lecturer at the Food Science and Nutrition Department of the University of Ghana, Dr. Angela Parry Hansen Konedu, warns consumers who already purchased the unwholesome chicken may be in danger and must properly cook the birds to avoid any health implications.
The law is very clear on deception, and selling frozen chicken as fresh chicken is very deceptive. There are consumers that go in for fresh chicken because of the quality, because of the freshness, because of the taste. I've actually done some work on poultry, and we did ask consumers in terms of their quality indicators what they prefer. And the majority of them chose fresh chicken. Even those who buy frozen chicken claim they prefer fresh chicken, and they think the quality and safety of fresh chicken is better. So when they are able to, most consumers would purchase fresh chicken. And to pass a frozen chicken as fresh chicken is deceptive and it's against the law. When you have multiple free store cycles, there are some germs on chicken. Chicken is not germ-free. We have pathogens, bacteria that causes disease like salmonella and campylobacter that you commonly find on chicken. These organisms tend to grow very quickly when temperatures are around ambient. So if you saw chicken on a bench top, for example, and you leave it on the bench top for a long time, as the temperature reaches around ambient temperature, these organisms can resume growth, right? And they increase in numbers. And when you freeze them again, the freezing does not kill them, so the numbers remain the same. And when you thaw again, they get opportunity to grow more. So you're basically multiplying the germs on the chicken.
President of the Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association, Michael Nyako Ampim, fears the actions of Shoprite may impact negatively on the local poultry industry.
It's quite unfortunate for something like this to happen, because we've been fighting that we find a way of improving the marketing of locally produced chicken in the country. And so if there was an opportunity for that, I think the Shoprite should have given the opportunity to the local farmers to do that. For them to allow frozen chicken to be used as locally chicken is deceptive, and I think it doesn't speak well to their reputation. So it is not something that we as farmers are happy about, and we would not relent in shouting that any necessary action that must be taken should be taken.
Okay. But as an association, do you have some of these multinational firms that you supply them with some of your products?
No. We fought it over and over. There's a brick wall. There's a brick wall. They give all kinds of excuses that you don't meet their standard, you can't supply the quantity they need. And we say that give us the opportunity. If we are not able to do it, then you can say that. At a point, I remember at a point, we had a conference somewhere, and somebody from one of these international bodies came and said all of things. So whilst we was talking, we asked that they go and buy the imported one and the local one they had there. They brought it, and we split the things open. And the locally dressed one were even better than the imported one. And the guy was there, his face turned red. I mean, because we didn't alert him that we were going to do that. So whilst we were talking and condemning the locally grown one, because the meeting was close to one of these bodies, we asked that we buy from them and then prove to them that what they were saying was not right. And indeed, we proved to them. But still, they never give us the opportunity.
Now, last year alone, as high as 74% of goods stocked on the shelves of supermarkets across the country were imported. According to Confidence, an international business advisory firm, biscuits and confectionaries, noodles, drinks, be it alcoholic or non-alcoholic, as well as meat, fish and seafood, dominated the list of products supermarkets in Ghana imported to stock on their shelves that year.
The main thing to consider is that for the share of made in Ghana to go high, the local goods have to be competitive. They have to be able to compete in terms of their quality. They have to be able to compete in terms of their branding. They have to be able to compete in terms of pricing. These are very extremely important areas where they definitely have to be competitive. In terms of our recommendations, we recommend that this should be approached in 2 stages. The first stage being that these local suppliers have to be helped to become competitive. We have to help them to become competitive in terms of quality. We have to help them to become more competitive in terms of branding, their packaging, and more competitive in terms of pricing. We looked at their branding and their packaging last time out. It was good. In terms of packaging, was really good for this survey. So we hope that continues. But after helping or after making sure that they become competitive in this sense, the next step becomes getting them on the shelves. One of the things that we noticed, or one of the things that came up, was that some of them complained that when they are trying to get into the shelves of the supermarkets, this will have long payment periods. So you supply your goods to the supermarket, and it takes about a couple of months or 3 months before they pay you. Now, for some suppliers, this is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And that is standard practice around the world for supermarkets. However, for the local suppliers, it becomes an issue because some of them do not have that cash flow to have their money locked up for that long without it being a problem. So these are some of the areas in which we have to support the suppliers in terms of providing the financial means of innovative financial solutions that help them to be able to deal with these standard retail practices. Another initiative is to try to encourage the supermarkets to have more made in Ghana. And the FDA is doing this with the Buy Ghana, Love Ghana initiative, which encourages supermarkets to have dedicated made in Ghana shops. And we did see some of these shops.
It's still the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kailoko. I've come to the Food and Drugs Authority. I've come here because the authority on 15 June, Tuesday, shut down the Accra Mall meat section of Shoprite. Their crime was that, according to the authority, they were deceiving the public over the product with regards to chicken they had stock on the shelf. So I'm going to go in there to get more details on why the regulator is taking this decision and if there are any fines or whatsoever. Come with us. But what measures have been put in place to ensure the consumer is protected in the case of Shoprite and others who may flout the law?
That's why this time we've closed it. It's no longer negotiation. It's no longer come to our office and then let us, tell you what is wrong. You know what is wrong. We've already drawn your attention to it. Until they put in the measures we've asked them to, that facility will be closed.
Okay. If we may ask, what measures have they been asked to put in place?
Okay, now, one, either they decide to sell frozen chicken as frozen chicken. If they want to sell fresh chicken, then they should let us know which farms they are getting the fresh chicken from, what documentation comes on, what inspections they are producing, when they receive consignments of fresh chicken, how they are going to log them in, which freezers they are going to put them in, which chillers they are going to put them in, how they are going to dispose of after the shelf life, so that they don't end up freezing them and selling them as fresh chicken. So there are so many things we need to work in hand with them, including training of their staff and ensuring proper, as I said, record keeping, until all those things are done, And as a form of deterrent, they were given an administrative fine to pay. That is going to make it punitive for them not to repeat such action again.
Sometimes when you look at based on the LI, the fines you see against people who flout rules, not just with the FDA but with other regulatory bodies, you have people in the industry who believe that those fines are not, big enough to deter, companies. Do you believe that these fines or what have been imposed on them will be a deterrent to them?
Yeah, I think it will be, because they were actually trying to ask us to reduce the fine because it was a bit too much for them to pay. And we actually drew the attention to the fact that that is what it's supposed to be.
And what forms of rules did they break in terms of the breakdown of the sanction calculation?
Okay, so the first one, as I already spoke about, was deception. Passing of thawed chicken, in fact, frozen chicken that has been thawed and packaged and then passing it on as fresh chicken. That's deception. The second one was actually not giving information about this product to the public, because if you look at the original package, there was information as to how to thaw the frozen chicken, and when you thaw it, you are not supposed to refreeze, okay? But they didn't give all this information to the public. And then also they were asked to remove these products from the display.
The May when you saw them, the first?
Yes, from the display freezers, but they didn't do that. And that was what made us, take this action.
And how long do they have to pay this fine?
They were given up to the 28th of this month.
Is it just a fine or there'll be other sanctions again?
For now, that is it. Because, you see, as much as we want it to be, as much as we want to penalize them for their inactions, we also are interested in making sure that businesses grow. So far as you do what we ask you to do, we'll help you. Remember I told you they will be taken through trainings and what kind of, so we'll help them so that the businesses operate.
And what happens if they flout again?
We have other sanctions. We can take them to the court. That will be on a different level.
The FDA warns it is impossible for the authority to be everywhere to check such troubling developments, and has appealed to individuals to volunteer information on such activities. But while the FDA goes about its work, it is crucial that next time you buy food, you're careful where you purchase it from.